obviously it's via the headline, but who could really shed some more light than the man himself, the man at the center of this particular development, Gary Griffith, on the Zoom line, Double G as I call him. Let's firstly say good morning, and of course let me wish you and yours all the very best and compliments of the season, Mr. Griffith.
Thank you, same to you. Good morning. Good morning to your many viewers.
Gary, I'm looking at the development here. Obviously, I'm sure you would see this as a victory, but at the same time, there is still some work to be done, because obviously I'm seeing the AG will be putting forward the appeal. They are deeming, well, they have deemed the findings yesterday as an error, as it will. Just want to get your sentiments there, because you are suggesting here via the front page of The Guardian, it says Gary calls the AG's decision to appeal deceitful. The fact that he's going to appeal means that this decision, this ruling is not sitting well. So let's go back to the courts, appeal the situation, and see if they can really bring this up in Parliament.
Yeah, good morning again. This is the ultimate hypocrisy you're seeing by this government, and it's actually being pushed by the Attorney General. It is mind-boggling. I said, the Attorney General, he becomes as reliable as the England football team. You never know which direction he's going and what is going to happen. And the reason I say hypocrisy, if not deceit, is that this was the same state that when we were in court, they gave the assurance to the court that this will not proceed until the matter was completed. So if you give the assurance to the court, you said that strong consideration will be given, that there will be no further action or statement made until this matter was resolved. And now, because it is you refuse to sign it, obviously that triggered something for the court. That if it is you want to give us the assurance, well then sign to say that you're giving the assurance. And then when it is we file the injunction and we won, you're now saying, well, we intend to appeal. So it shows deceit at the highest level. Why would you have stated to the court that you were not going to pursue this until the matter was resolved? And now that the court has said, okay, well, fine, there's an injunction to ensure it doesn't happen, you're now going to appeal. It is deceit at the highest level. And let me add, I want to clarify this. This is much bigger than Gary Griffith. This is a situation that can affect any citizen in this country. The reason that I am pushing this, obviously the PNM till are dead. A few of them will say, well, why not bring this forward? That is, I have no problem, bring it forward. But say what you have to say outside of Parliament. Trinidad and Tobago, the Parliament in this country, our Constitution is drafted in such a way that our Parliament is the one place that you can lie and say the nastiest things about persons, total lies, destroy their credibility, and there's nothing that could be done. We have seen it with the Scott drug report. We have seen it with email gate. We have seen it when a member of Parliament said a man's father raped his wife to conceive him. That is what our Parliament has turned to. It is the one area that you can be nasty, disgusting, despicable, destroy someone's character, and with all these lies, and you cannot do anything about it. You cannot sue them. There's no redress. That is what needs to change in this country. You cannot continue to have Parliament as an avenue to destroy someone's character with lies and pretend that nothing could happen. So this is what I am pushing. This is what I am fighting. If Keith Rowley and the people he hired handpicked selectively and paid them big money, and then you want to use that as an avenue to say, well, it's very neutral. If you want to say what you have to do, say it outside. Don't go in Parliament and hide like a coward, and that is what I am pushing. Because if you look at some of the points, JW 140 firearm licenses, that whole audit is littered with lies.
Well, I'm not going to say that, because I saw that number, and again, they said that was leaked. They said that was leaked to the media, 140,000
It is a total lie.
Under your tenure, that is a lot of guns, eh?
It is a lie, and that is the point. So the audit was just made with total, let me tell you, if it is that what they said was so true, I challenge them, these 4 individuals handpicked selectively by the PNM, so the PNM knows them well and paid them big money, and they were so incompetent, they did not understand that the most basic thing in natural justice is if you're doing an audit, you need to speak to the person who was in charge of the organization at the time. This is the exact reason that the same Attorney General, when he represented Keith Rowley in the Landgate matter, used and won, because you cannot smear someone's name and discredit them without speaking to them. So the hypocrisy and again the deceit of the Attorney General, he used the same system in Landgate. That is why that matter went out the window. So going back to the 140,000, 4,000 licenses were approved. Out of that is 0.3% of the population. Over half of that were for law enforcement officers, past and present, whose lives were at risk because they did not have the opportunity to carry their firearms at home. over 400 of that were for politicians and their friends with numbers and dozens coming to me begging me to get licenses for them. And not one of those 4,000 were ever used to commit a murder in comparison to the 400 plus used for illegal firearms. So with all of that, and then the Minister of National Insecurity says that 108, another leak he tried, 108 were used in crime. That is also misleading because the majority of those it involved police officers having a negligent discharge, officers who use their firearm in the performance of their duty, law-abiding citizens using their firearm to protect themselves. So that is my point. The audit was littered with lies. And I challenge those 4 individuals, go to the police station and report a crime. Because if they do that, firstly, they could be charged for wasting police time, and then I would be able to sue them for every single thing that they have. But that is what the point is of what this is about. You want to be, I'm not holding back the report. Go out, your name, man, Keith Rowley, say what you have to say outside in Parliament. Don't hide like a coward in Parliament to reveal a report that is email gate reloaded.
So you think all this, I mean, obviously, I would imagine politics is at play here because, yes, this happened during your tenure and when you were wearing the hat of commissioner. Of course, that's no more. Now you're obviously going into the political realm again with your party stepping into a general. So I would imagine this could all be part of a plan to almost dismantle Gary's name to make you not credible when you step in. Because I can't see you going back into the role of commissioner after all of this. Gary, I think your focus now must be on the politics.
Yeah, of course. I reapplied as Commissioner of Police in 2018. I applied. I had no experience in policing, and I got more points than everyone in every one of the 7 assessments. 2021, I got 94%. The nearest police officer got 77%. So I could do these exams with my left hand and still top it. If it is it's not topped, it means that somebody influenced the exams. If it is I top it and it goes to Parliament, I wanted to go to Parliament because that is what Keith Rowley did. He did, again, in an act of cowardice, he didn't want to go in Parliament to reject me. He wanted other people to do the job for him. I want the country to see you have a situation now where it is the highest rate of murders in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. We're going at 600. When I left, crime was number 4 considered. It has now gone to number 1. You selected an individual that doesn't have a clue what is happening, and in relation to someone where crime was at the highest reduction. I want the country to see the man for what he is. So he's going to say, regardless of the crime rate, regardless of what the country wants, regardless of who tops the exam, regardless of what is best for the country, I, Keith Rowley, I'm saying that this man must not be the Commissioner of Police. I want to show to the country the individual that when he gets so angry, is that the kind of individual we want to lead the country? That is why I've applied. So yes, I'm into politics, but this goes back to the point again, JW, what we're seeing here with this report, it is littered with lies. And you want to go in Parliament and hide like a coward to reveal it in Parliament so you cannot be sued. And the individuals who drafted it also. This all started again with this government. What they love to do is to handpick people who they know very well, give them a document, pay them hundreds of thousands of taxpayers' dollars. And if you do that, that person can easily manipulate a report because they're playing to the piper. And if you do that, you want to use that as an opportunity to discredit someone. They tried it with this 2-man report. The Police Service Commission in the minutes stated they voiced their disgust. Hear the words. They voiced their disgust at Keith Rowley, but you claim that it was based on a report that you sent to Blissy Prasad. The report was signed by one individual. It was never a 2-man report. So it means that that was a citizen who gave his view. And that is what you saw as an avenue to turn the whole police service upside down. It was a cheap excuse. And my concept is that we cannot be using Parliament as an avenue to discredit citizens because of your political agenda.
Let me ask you, as we go back to that commissioner appointment and your reapplication, you know, putting your hat back in that ring, we understood, or at least the understanding is that at least sometime later this month, a decision was to be made. We're hearing now next month. Have you been contacted at all? What's the latest in that regard? I mean, I know your chances might be very, very slim, but have you had any word, any kind of indication as to where that process is as of today?
Well, I think the Police Service Commission made an official statement that it will be completed in the end of January. But again, those are the things why I need to get back in government. This is not a banana republic. NYPD, London Met, Detroit, Boston, LA. Commissioners of police are selected within hours. In Trinidad and Tobago, the Chief of Defense Staff, the Commissioner of Prisons, Fire, Immigration, Customs, they are selected within hours. Why, for the Commissioner of Police, it has to be something that was going to cost the taxpayers millions of dollars. It will take over a year to be completed. When you do that, it can deliberately manipulate the process, and the right person cannot and would not be selected. It has to change. It is a ridiculous process, and I am telling you, because I have done research worldwide of how police commissioners are selected.
But have you been contacted at all, Gary? Have you been contacted?
Yeah, no, we have been involved in the process. Persons have been shortlisted, exams, assessments, and that's the point. The reason that it is so intense with dozens of different exams and all of these different things is what has caused the Police Service Commission to be involved in this. I had hoped that this Police Service Commission will understand that the process is totally outdated. You cannot spend over a year to select one person, and then sometimes you select that one person, he or she could probably retire within a few months. It doesn't make sense.
Let me ask you though, Gary. I mean, real to real, big to big, man to man here. I mean, with all that's happening, with all this back and forth and all this gymnastics, would you really want to go back into that role? Do you think now the focus should probably just be on your politics and try to make the change in that direction? Would you really go back? If given the chance, you'll really go back in that commissioner role, Gary?
No. That is what I just said. The thing is, had I not applied, Keith Rowley, I would have given Keith Rowley a get out of jail free card. He would have then said, well, he never applied, but you won't get him and so forth. No, I have applied to prove to the country the character of the individual. Oh. Because as I said, when I left, crime was the #4 concern. My last year was 340 on murders. There was a 27% reduction in every violent crime. In the first year under Jacob, it was 596 murders. It was the highest spike in crime in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. That is who Keith Rowley wanted. I was his biggest mistake. I want to show to the country the man's decision-making process. I want to show the character of the individual. So if we're in a situation, it is the most amount of bloodshed the country is seeing, you're going to disregard what the country wants, who the country prefers, who might come first, who might be the best person for the job, because you're saying, I do not care. Several members of Parliament on his side have told me if they had their way, they would want me reappointed because it will help their constituents. So the only reason I've reapplied is not because I want to work, not because I need a job, but it's to show the character of the individual.
Understood. How are you going to counteract this appeal, Gary, before we wrap things up? Obviously, the appeal, the wheels are in motion. What's your plan? I know you can't go into all the full details. That's within the legal framework.
It is a matter before the court, but it is for them to appeal. My point being is that you, as the state, you went and told the court that there's strong consideration, and you are not going to pursue it until the matter was resolved. And then the court is saying, well, okay, put it in writing, and you start to moonwalk like Michael Jackson. So you make a verbal statement, but you don't want to sign it. So obviously we filed an injunction, and we got it. So Keith Rowley, his attorneys, they played their hand and they lost yet again. And now you're upset. But why are you upset? And he's making a decision. You are hearing an attorney general saying you give the assurance to the public. Brother man, the only assurance you're given is to the one person who you work for and you report to. So the public is not, they don't want your assurance. They want to know that you are not going to use Parliament as an avenue to discredit people with your lies.
Mm-hmm. I want to find out from you, as we look towards 2023, as we wrap things up, just one, your greetings to the country, and do you think there could be any turnaround? Because Professor Roger Hussein came on the program here some weeks ago and said if we go to that 600 murder mark, it will be a psychological blow to this country. Me personally, as a Trinbagonian, someone who loves this country, I don't want to see that happen. I will hope that 2023 will be better. But I just want to hear from you, your take on next year, and of course, you could wrap up by sending your greetings to the nation.
Well, no, definitely. What I would ask all citizens of this country, this is not about a PNM or UNC or ABC or XYZ. This is about good versus evil. We must be in a situation where in 2023, we need to put away our party cards and work towards trying to make this a better country. And that's how I operate as a politician. I don't see party cards, I see right and wrong. And probably that is why it is that certain people had a problem with me as Commissioner of Police. What it is that we're seeing now is that If it is we want to reduce crime, we cannot reduce crime by politicizing it. And that is what has happened. When it is you have a Minister of National Security, a Prime Minister, and a Commissioner of Police blocking me on their phone like little children, where I want you to succeed. I want you to achieve what you have to achieve. Under my watch, that last year was, as I said, was the highest reduction in violent crime. The murder rate went down to 340, and it continued to go down. So it means that it can happen. This can turn around. So yes, it was 340. Now it might be going to 600. The fact of the matter is the same way we got it down to 340. If they use the same policies, the political will, the people, the programs, we can turn it around because it is possible. But it can only happen if you circle the wagons. But if you decide to say, well, Gary is not one of us, so let's just turn them away, what you're going to have is you're going to have dinosaurs making wrong decisions, and only the criminals will benefit. So I ask all of Trinidad and Tobago in 2023, I ask all of us, let us forget about the party card. Let us forget about race and trying to find ways to divide the country. Let us unite the country by working together, and that, I assure you, 2023 can be a very good year for this country.
Thank you, Gary. Thanks for the time and all the best.
My pleasure.